Hey, Action Shelf listeners, before we jump into the show itself, we want to tell you about how you can get even more action in your life. That appeals to you.
More action, you
More
say,
action,
John.
you say. Yes. If you go over to our Podbean patron page, that's patron.podbean.com/punchup. You can listen to Lisman and I watch, what's this? Good action movies.
Good action movies, you say?
That's right, a change of pace. We thought behind the paywall, let's give people something of quality.
And give us something of quality.
I know, it's such a pleasure to do that. So twice a month, you and I will be doing commentary tracks that you can download for good action movies, all kinds of awesome stuff from a lot of our heroes like John Woo. And we've done stuff from the John Wick franchise and Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the guys we never get to talk about on here.
Yeah, stuff we legitimately love and love to share with you all.
Yeah. So you can listen to that as well as other cool exclusive content from the Punch Up Entertainment Network shows. Once again, the address for that is patron.podbean.com/punchup. And now, into the action.
The Action Show. Action Show. The Action Show. The Action Show.
Welcome to the Action Shelf. The podcast celebrates the glory of B action movies. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Listman.
Oh, Listman. Norris November rolls along.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about right before we got on here that it does feel like this month has been steadily improving.
It's been great, actually. I've enjoyed just this upward trajectory of fun, like stupid fun.
Well, I do feel like there is something about a Norris movie, isn't there?
Especially Cannon. Like, Norris and Cannon work so perfectly together.
I was gonna say, is like Norris the perfect Cannon star?
Yes, I think
I
so.
I think that is just a perfect studio meets actor.
Because he's not quite a good enough actor to really find a lot of success outside of Cannon, necessarily.
Right. Well, because you have guys like Bronson who came to Cannon, but late in the career, he was already a movie star.
Right, exactly.
Or like Cannon spending stupid amounts of money to get Stallone to be in one of those.
Right, exactly.
But it's like Norris and Cannon met at the exact right moment.
Yes.
Or like, guys like Van Damme start there but quickly move out of there.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah, I do feel like, Norris is kind of the perfect Cannon guy.
Yes.
And this is kind of a perfect Cannon movie this week.
It is. It's got all the things you would expect in a Cannon film, but still there's something about it that's wholly unpredictable. Because the tone of this movie is wild.
Is insane. There were so many times watching this movie, and we were talking about 1991's The Hitman.
Yes.
Chuck Norris is The Hitman.
Yes, him with his longest mullet to date, I believe.
This hair is also part of the appeal to me.
Yes, I believe the mullet was why you clicked on, or why you selected this.
I saw the poster and I went, well, if he looks like that, we've got to watch this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm so glad we did, because boy, this delivers on the goods. By the way, the biggest thing in this movie's favor, a well-used 95-minute runtime. This thing moves at a great clip.
It sure does. And getting into it at first, I was like, this movie is all over the place. Like, it's entertaining to start out, but I think the audacity of it grows as it continues, and you're just like, as you're getting whiplash from the tonal like resets that happen throughout the movie. It is interesting. I would recommend people watch this movie.
I think this is a fun time.
Yeah.
It's objectively not a good movie.
No, God, no.
Can I say this, though? Here's an interesting thing before we get into the movie. This was originally written as a vehicle for a different Cannon star, Mr. Charles Bronson.
Interesting. It feels so Chuck Norris, though.
I have to imagine
There's some rewrites.
That Chuck came in because there is Chuck Norris-y stuff in it.
Well, Chuck and Aaron came in for this film.
Is this the first one we've done that's directed by Aaron?
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah. Who starts directing all... No, we did do Hellbound that he directed as well. Okay. Because at a certain point, Aaron directs all of his movies.
Did Aaron move over to Walker, Texas Ranger?
He sure did.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. He was one of the directors on Walker and the director of some of the Walker TV movies as well.
Gotcha.
No, it's basically like up to a point. And Aaron was always his stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
This is not the first. I think this is his second film. No, this is his third film.
Third film.
Because they started with Braddock Missing in Action 3, and yes, we didn't do any of the Missing in Action movies because we are going to do those separately. We are going to do the Missing in Action movies.
Are we going to do them all in one go?
We are going to do them for when we do the canon.
Oh yes, okay.
We have plans to eventually do like a whole summer of canon movies, and
I cannot wait. That's going to be so good.
In that, we'll end up doing the Missing in Action trilogy.
Yeah, I guess we can't like do some of the bigger canon hits without doing that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is my thought going forward is, we'll do the Missing in Actions and the Death Wish, their big franchise. We'll do those in the canon months because I think in and around some of the other stuff. But yeah, he did that. He also did Delta Force 2, which I don't know if I've ever seen. Delta Force is a great Chuck Norris vehicle.
Classic, yeah.
But Delta Force 2, no one talks about. Probably for good reason.
Yeah.
And then, that leads us to the Hitman, which started as a Charles Bronson vehicle.
Yeah.
So let's talk about who wrote this movie. Robert Jeffrian.
Just remind me, when did Canon basically run out of money? When did that happen?
So this is getting there because this is 91, and we know Hellbound was the last canon movie. I think that was 95.
Oh, interesting. So there was a little overlap because I know that Walker, Texas Ranger started in 93, I want to say.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of overlap.
Well, 94 was Hellbound, but I think Hellbound was held as well.
Yes.
Because I think it was shot before he started Walker, but released after
Okay,
Walker
gotcha.
started.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because, of course, remember, Hellbound also has the lead actress from Walker in it.
That's true. Oh, that's right.
But I think that was because he made that and then brought her to Walker, not the opposite.
Gotcha. And that was his. So, do you think that his departure had anything to do? I mean, there's a lot of elements going into the closure of canon, which I love the mythos behind this weird company.
I do too, man. There are 2 separate documentaries about this company, and I recommend both of them strongly.
Yes.
Electric Boogaloo and the Go-Go Boys are both great, and there's also whole books about it. Canon is just fascinating.
Very fascinating, yeah.
I do think there's a piece of that. I think this movie comes at a time in canon where they've already blown a lot of money.
Yes.
So if anything, this movie is them trying to get back on track.
Interesting.
This is them trying to get back to canon.
It does feel classic. It does feel classic canon in so many ways.
And this is 91, so like I said, this is where they've already blown a bunch of money on the Stallone deals.
Masters of the Universe.
And Superman. Masters of the Universe and Superman 4 really brought the company down.
Really tanked them, yeah.
Because those were big, expensive movies.
Yeah.
But the problem was they were big and expensive for canon standards, but they look like shit compared to other block. Like Superman 4, which I think we're gonna do Superman 4 at some point on here.
Yeah.
It looks really bad in comparison to the other Superman movies because it was just canon. You're not those guys, man. Like, that was the problem. Canon wanted to take that next jump to, we now make special effects blockbusters. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. They got too ambitious.
And so this is them trying to course correct this movie.
Okay, gotcha.
The Hitman.
So Icarus flew too close to the sun, their wax wings melted, and this is their descent back down, reaching terminal velocity.
The Hitman is them trying to take the melted wax and try to shape it back into some wings. And it does have that feel for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were a canon fan and you were disappointed by Masters of the Universe, this will get you back. And they got their boy. They got Chuck.
Yeah.
And Chuck is Chuck, I almost said Chuck is fine, but Chuck is giving the same performance he always gives.
Yes, it's true. This is when we were talking about Firewalker. This is kind of more what you were referring to as like Chuck doing what Chuck does,
Chuck,
as opposed to trying to be a comedic.
Although what's interesting,
quippy
he's not that guy.
No.
Chuck is at his best when he's stoic, when he's serious.
Yes.
Although this was marketed as a departure for Chuck, and he's playing a darker character in this one.
That is true, but is he?
No, that's it exactly, and that's where I feel like when you talked about this probably being rewritten from Bronson, I think the movie was darker had it been Bronson.
Yeah. Yes.
But
yes.
Chuck, like all the stuff with the single mom and the kid. That's Chuck.
He and Aaron probably brought those scenes in, right?
That's got to be the case.
It feels completely out of place of everything else in the movie, but it does feel like Chuck is at his most comfortable in those scenes.
Does. Well, I was watching this last night and I was going, "Oh my god!" Even the movie where he's like over the line and disappearing into crime, he still has to just be the best guy.
He's just the best guy. Although, if you think about it, giving this child a key to his house or his apartment when he lives an incredibly dangerous life is fully irresponsible.
Well, because what happens was inevitable, right?
It's all his fault.
Spoiler, he gets a kid blown up in this movie.
It's so wild. It's so wild.
This is very silly. And also, I just want to say the plot of this movie.
Oh, is there a plot?
No, there isn't. That's what I was going to say. It's impossible to follow. This movie makes no sense going from scene to scene.
Is he? So here's the question: is he undercover? Is he a secret government agent?
I think so.
Is this in canon with the X-Files? Because the smoking man is in this movie?
Oh, I knew. The second I saw that last night, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about the cigarette smoking man being in here. I was
so excited.
I was so excited. I wanted more of him, man.
Me too. He's only in the beginning.
It's a bummer.
That's very apropos of the cigarette smoking man. He shows up.
It's true.
And stuff gets set up, and then he disappears.
Oh, I love the cigarette smoking.
It's so good.
One of the greatest villains in pop culture history.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Man.
Yeah,
and none of that is used in this movie, right? Like, there's
no.
William B. Davis is that actor who's just the fucking best.
He's great. Yeah,
and still with us too, man.
I know.
I'm so happy that guy's still around.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched The Midnight Club yet. He's in the new Netflix show, The Midnight Club.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard pretty good things.
I love Mike Flanagan, the guy who runs all those horror shows for Netflix, and this is his new thing. I haven't gotten to it as of the recording of this, but it's on my list. And he's credited as playing someone called the Mirror Man.
Okay,
so,
excellent. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think he's doing a similar thing there.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he has one of my favorite lines in television history. Don't threaten me, Mulder. I've watched presidents die.
It's so good.
It's the best, man. That's pure supervillainy at its best.
Yeah.
Here, he's just a doctor in one scene.
Yes.
But I'm so glad we have Michael Parks back.
Oh my god.
We saw him be the villain in Death Wish 5.
That's what we saw. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. I mean, obviously, I've seen him in a million movies.
Well,
several Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez.
Well, because those guys really and Kevin Smith as well. All those guys who grew up watching him seized him late in his career and gave him sort of this late career resurgence. Because he's
so good in this movie. He's amazing.
Well, because here's the thing about Michael Parks is a real deal good actor.
Yes.
And then when you put him in this trash, he's just crushing it. He
elevates the material
and he
so much.
He was the best thing in Death Wish 5 too,
because
you're just going like, oh, this guy, he just knows exactly where to play this. I loved him in this movie.
Yeah, he's eccentric in really interesting ways. In ways you wouldn't necessarily your immediate thought wouldn't be to go in the directions that he goes in, which keeps his performance interesting because you don't fully know how he's going to deliver his lines.
He is just and he's having the best time. And this is key to, I think, when you have Chuck Norris, who is we love him, but the guy's a block of wood.
Yes, he is not a good actor.
No, not at all. So putting him up against a guy who is doing totally
So much.
unexpected
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
is really exciting to
Yeah.
watch their
Oh, yeah.
scenes together, because Parks is making Norris better.
I thought that Lou Gossett Jr. did the
Yes.
same thing as well.
No, I think there's a reason Firewalker and this movie were better than Force of One, because you're going,
Force of One didn't really have anybody else, right? Like
not really, like
nobody who was in a lot of scenes with Chuck, I guess. It was all riding on Chuck's shoulders.
and that's just, you just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And next week we'll have the great character actor Henry Silva with him, so I'm excited for that. But anyway, let's talk about the Hitman.
Let's talk about this movie.
We open up with
This opening scene is so unnecessary. Why have it in there? Like just make him a hitman.
I know, it is this whole thing, because we get Chuck and his partner Michael Parks.
Yes.
Dell.
Yeah, who's definitely not going to be revealed to be evil.
Well, I did think when it started here, I'm going like, normally I would say his partner's going to get killed, but it's Michael Parks, so his partner's going to be the bad guy.
Yes. And both are technically correct in a way.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Both technically sort of happen.
Because, and we get their instant camaraderie here, because it's a drug bust at the docks.
At the docks, yeah.
Because of course.
Where else would drug busts happen? And my favorite is that just the two of them take on an entire gang.
That's
of drug
always the
dealers.
case, man, in the movies we watch, right? It's always just like two cops
Yeah.
here to arrest an entire drug organization. What happens is what would happen, probably.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
Chuck sneaks up and scares him, so he
Yeah.
spills coffee all over himself. And right away with the one-liners, some of Michael Parks' lines in this movie,
Do you think he improvised some of his
I
lines?
have to imagine. He
Yeah,
did.
it felt like it.
I think he was known as a guy who improvised a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But I wrote down this one as his one line. He goes, "It's so goddamn cold out here. My dick is like a short stack of buttons."
I'm so glad you wrote that down, John. 'Cause I had to. This is like less than 5 minutes into the film,
Yeah.
and I already had to pause because I was laughing so hard that I
So-
couldn't hear the dialogue.
So goddamn cold. My dick is like a short stack of buttons.
Who's ever said that?
That is not a saying.
It's not something people say.
Who even said a short stack of buttons?
Buttons? Why
What?
buttons?
It's just and that is indicative of so much of the dialogue in this movie.
Yes.
The amount of times in this movie that somebody said something and I backed it up to go, what did he say?
Later in this scene, Michael Parks says, "I'm so horny I could fuck mud."
I caught that too, yeah. What the hell are you talking about?
No, I don't know. Oh my
And
god.
Parks has a lot of the craziest things
Yes,
here.
because again, I think he was just making shit up.
Well, we did talk about on Death Wish 5, all of his dialogue was imposed.
That's
I believe
true.
That was
Oh,
the
that's
case.
right.
And he had some crazy shit in that movie too.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael Parks, can he be in everything we
Please,
watch? Because
please.
Michael Parks, the late great, we did lose him sadly, and
That
he
is
was
sad,
just
yeah.
But he got this. I do love that he got a great late in career. Like,
Yeah,
you know who was
resurgence.
great? That guy. Let's make sure he's in Kill Bill and Planet Terror. And
I do really appreciate that about Tarantino and Rodriguez, that they really,
Yeah.
they really show a lot of reverence for these actors who didn't really get a lot of big commercial play. you know?
They-
and actually once they both get cachet in Hollywood, they bring those people in.
Total.
you know?
I mean, those are the kind of guys. I think, like you and I as well, where they seize on these guys. You're going, man, that guy crushed it in 3 scenes in a movie.
Yeah. Yes.
And Parks' whole career was being the guy who would crush it in 3 scenes in a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And never kind of got his due.
Yeah, because he was. I think he was always in this kind of.
Yeah, basically, and TV. I mean, he was
yeah.
he was on. He had a running role on Twin Peaks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he always working, but
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that's probably beneath his talents.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then it's I think From Dusk Till Dawn was the first time that
Yes.
they really used him, and he's fucking great in that movie.
Yeah.
Because that was only a couple years. That was only 2 years after he did Death Wish 5. He's in From Dusk Till Dawn, right? I will say he did a 2-parter on Walker, so Norris brought him back as well.
Excellent.
That's good
great.
to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kind of you look at late in his career. Oh my God, we've talked about doing Smokin' Aces 2. He's in Smokin' Aces 2.
I don't think I've ever seen Smokin' Aces 2.
I definitely haven't.
Yeah.
Because
We saw the first one in theaters.
Oh, and that movie, that's one we should do a commentary for, because
Yeah.
I love Smokin' Aces.
God, it's been a long time since I've seen
that
that
movie.
film. Yeah.
That movie
movie's
is
crazy.
That is exactly the kind of movie I like, where that movie just goes nuts at a certain point.
Yeah, that even though I feel like Seven Psychopaths has a lot of Smokin' Aces energy to it, you know.
It does. I love these movies that just go crazy.
Yeah, or Shoot 'Em Up.
Shoot 'em. Oh, we love that one too.
Yeah.
I feel like those were about the same time when we were going to any movie like that.
Yeah,
we were looking for just complete insanity.
Yes, absolutely.
And those I feel like are once again in the realm of like top tier action shelf material.
Yes. Still kind of B, but like really, really fun and well executed.
So this is a real formal criminal operation. They've got like forklifts and stuff.
They do, and a welding team, and you know,
it's the sparks from the welding that tip Chuck off to something. He's like, wait, what's that?
Is there any way they could have done it a little bit more subtle, you know?
I just love though Chuck basically here is like, crime sense is tingling.
Yeah.
There's something going on. There's sparks over there. There must be crime happening.
Yeah, nothing. That's the only thing that tips him off.
Yeah.
And Michael Parks does not do a great job in convincing him not to go investigate this. Spoiler alert, he's involved.
Yeah. And we find this out because he just starts killing people at this thing.
Yeah, why exactly?
I don't. Well, here's the thing.
Why not just go straight for Chuck?
Here's the thing that makes no sense in this movie across the board.
Yeah.
Don't even bother trying to follow all of the mob machinations and stuff. All of the allegiances and it took me maybe an hour into this movie to figure out there are 3 separate criminal enterprises here.
There's the Italian who Chuck will be later associated with.
Yeah.
There's the French, which is complicated because the accent of that guy, I believe, was like a Quebec French. So
they're French Canadian.
Yeah,
but I think they're supposed to be from France.
From France.
Yeah.
So that was confusing.
But that French Canadian is such a different accent.
Yes. And then there's
they're Iranians.
Iranians. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who, as they say in the goofs here, they keep calling Arabs when in fact Iranians are Persians.
They are Persians, so that's not actually an accurate.
You think Canon gives a shit?
No, of course not.
In particular, you think the divorced dad fans of Canon give a shit?
I mean, Golem and Globus are from Israel. Of course, they don't give a fuck about Iranians.
I did think about that when all of a sudden there were Middle Eastern bad guys. I'm going like, oh, this feels like a Golem and Globus note.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just make them Palestinians.
Yeah. I mean,
why not, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, so and I just it took me a while to figure out those were 3 separate entities.
Yes.
And then just go, it doesn't matter though. It couldn't matter less in this movie.
But they are what it is interesting that they want to have these weird dynamics between different. This feels really like they're going for some Godfather stuff. Like the number of people who get gunned down in the streets by machine guns.
Well, and it you can make that movie.
Yes.
But it's not a Chuck Norris movie. You know, I mean, this is the thing where I was thinking there is the impulse here, yes, to make a gangster epic about warring gangs, but that is then not a Chuck Norris movie.
Nope, because what is this movie saying about that?
Oh, nothing.
Fucking nothing.
Absolutely nothing. When you bring up The Godfather, and The Godfather has 5 families battling each other.
Yes, it's more complicated.
It's 3 hours long, and it's an epic, and it's a morality tale, and
and there's not a bunch of martial arts fights.
Well, let's talk about the martial arts fights, because while Michael Parks is shooting people on a boat, weirdly,
I guess, with a silenced pistol.
Yeah. Chuck is roundhouse kicking dudes around this place.
Yes.
And then you talk about a one-liner that makes no sense. He gets a guy up against the locker and says, "Welcome to my world," and then punches him out. What?
And then he followed it up with Bobby's World.
A precursor to the 90s animated series.
Exactly. That's where they got it from. They got it from this movie.
Howie Mandel said,
Now that's something.
Oh, there might be something here. But it's another one where
It's
you're like,
not a good one.
where you just no, and the whole movie is like that, where he'll drop something and the camera will push in and the music will stop and he'll say something, and then I would just go, what?
Wait, hold on. Wait,
that?
can we watch that? What does that mean?
Huh?
I mean, this is one of the least confusing one-liners.
It is.
It's not good. It makes no sense, but it doesn't make you question what's happening in the film.
There is stuff later where I'm going, I literally don't even understand what that has to do with anything.
I don't understand what is trying to be communicated here. It's so confusing. But yes, so he's going through taking out dudes.
He's taking out dudes, and then finally, of course, Michael Parks pulls a gun on him.
Yes.
What's crazy about this is there's a guy who's gonna kill Michael Parks,
Yes.
and Chuck Norris saves him.
Yes.
And then Michael Parks turns around and shoots Chuck Norris out a window.
Yes.
There is so much people going in and out of windows.
Oh, it's
in
great.
This movie.
It's excellent.
It is just like the amount of the Golden Globus note is always like more broken glass, more
glass.
fire, more
More explosions. More
Yeah.
cars need to blow up.
Yeah, because it is. That's the thing. This whole movie is this canon thing where it's like the plot doesn't make any sense, but they're going, "Who cares? Just keep having stuff happen."
We just have visceral action moments.
If we can just keep machine guns firing and things exploding and people crashing through glass, no one will care.
Exactly, and they're
And
not totally wrong.
I pretty much did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I would occasionally go, I don't follow this. Whoa, that guy got thrown out a window.
No, wait, hold on. Who was that guy? Oh, it doesn't matter. Chuck Norris just roundhouse kicked someone.
And Chuck gets shot like so many times.
A lot.
And then flies out this window.
Yes.
Also, he can be in the care of cigarette smoking man. here.
Yes.
And I did think when he's on the operating table, I'm going, boy, this is headed to RoboCop territory.
I know. Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah.
Or like $6 Million Man, because I was like, I think I said out loud as I was watching this, and I was like, we can rebuild him. We can make him better. Because it does have that vibe to it when it's like,
Yeah.
And then I never understood who this like government
It's
guy
not the guy with the
was.
big eyebrows.
Yeah. Oh my God, the eyebrows on this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. It's never fully explained.
Nope.
And I think that's okay. I'd rather it under-explain what's happening than over-explain.
Is this Chambers? Is that this character? Yeah, this is him.
Sure.
Ken Pogue is this actor, who's in a million things. But he shows up and he's like, they're like, he's lucky to be alive, and then he's the one who's like, well, to the world will think. By the way, Chuck Norris's name in this movie is Cliff Garrett.
And if you forget that name, that's fine, because he's going to go by a different name for
most
the rest of the movie.
He'll go by Cliff Grogan.
It was like John Grogan.
Oh, was it John Grogan?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because on the IMDb, it's credited as Cliff Garrett / Grogan.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess, yeah, maybe it's John Grogan. But anyway, they'll call him Grogan for the rest of the movie.
It doesn't, yeah.
But it's also, you can go, well, as far as the world is concerned, Cliff Garrett is dead. Which I'm like, man, this is real comic booky kind of stuff.
It is, yeah.
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm on board for this. I don't think they do enough with this, because apparently Cliff Garrett had no life, because he segues into being another guy with no issues whatsoever.
I believe in 3 years in the same area, because they start out in Seattle, I think, and then the rest of the movie's in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
So that's not like a huge distance.
No, it is a thing where, like, when his ex-partner who tried to kill him comes back, it's like, well, of course, he's right there.
Yeah. They're in the same cities.
It's not like he was in LA and they sent him to New York or something like that.
Yeah.
That would have been instead. No, it's so weird that he's just like, well, I have longer hair now. And oh my God, the hair. The hair in this movie. This is the worst Chuck has looked in anything.
I
right?
think so, yeah.
I mean, that hair is straight up disgusting. It is so gross, this hair, man.
Yes,
And
that is true.
It has that thing where his hair's so long, it always looks wet.
Yes, the Jean-Claude Van Damme effect.
It is very
But
similar.
I think Van Damme pulls it off better.
He does, but it is similar to Van Damme and Hard Target.
In Hard Target, yeah.
Yeah, where it is like, oh my God, I'm just looking at all the photos, man.
Yeah.
It's so ugly.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I guess that's meant to be like he's a dirtbag now.
I guess, yeah.
And if you think we don't get a shirtless scene of him coming soaking out of the shower.
Oh, we do.
Oh man, gotta have something for the ladies.
Best believe, yeah.
Ladies. There is one lady in this movie who is just unceremoniously murdered.
Yeah.
For almost no reason.
Yeah. I mean, her motivation is vague, and because she's also involved in the criminal.
Yeah, and they're like,
underworld.
they kind of half have a romance between her and Chuck,
But not really.
not enough. But then they kill her in a way where it seems like we should care. But I'm like, you've only been in 2 scenes, so
It's
who
like,
even
come
are you?
on. Like, if you're gonna try and kill her off in a way that we're supposed to care, you need to write her in a way. You have to care about her as you're writing her.
Exactly, yeah.
And they very clearly have very little opinion of her.
Oh yeah. I mean, she's barely even a character at
Yeah.
all. I do like, though, in classic canon fashion, she is brutally shot like in the face.
Yep. Well, a lot of people are shot in the face. In
I
this
will
movie.
say the squib work in this movie is exquisite.
I just modern movies that do the CG blood effects, it's not the same.
It's never the same because, oh my god, the amount of people who just get machine gunned to death in this thing.
Yeah.
And blood is exploding off of them.
and it's like people get shot like 14 times is how they die.
No one just gets shot once in this movie. People are just blown to pieces. Well, and people get shot 15 times and then still stagger and have a death scene.
That's true.
I love this movie for that. This movie is just complete insanity.
It is, yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I was also going like, oh, squib work, man, squib work was something. Everybody gets huge globs of blood coming off of people. And stuff.
But yeah, so then it's just like, all right, 3 years later, which
3
is
years
not
later.
a very long period of time.
But he is fully
yes,
like a top level assassin.
and he's
for-
never like he's very rarely checking in with this government agent, so you kind of forget that was a thing.
I did, almost to the point where you go like, couldn't they have
It
just
didn't
been
need it. He could have just been a hitman, or if he was undercover, just reveal that he was undercover at some point in the movie.
Right, yeah, we don't
know?
need any of this. But I did think, what is the investigation here? What evidence has he gathered?
I
He
don't
doesn't
know.
He's not wearing a wire recording stuff or
No,
anything.
no.
So it's insane. There is.
And the
this makes
acts
no
of
sense.
violence that he lets happen and
That he
facilitates,
commits.
that he
we
commits.
see him when we first meet him here. He just straight up murders a guy.
Yeah.
Which is because we get this scene where this guy is number one. I love an organized crime meeting scene. In the
Of
movie.
course.
This kind of this movie. I just went through puberty. This movie. This movie kind of reminds me of that Schwarzenegger movie, Raw Deal.
Yeah.
Very
yeah,
similar movie.
yeah. Also a Canon film, right? Or co-produced by Canon.
I think that was a canon involved movie,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
definitely had that vibe.
Yes.
But yeah, very similar to this. But we get a similar thing here. But I love this scene where they're letting this guy go.
Yeah.
like they're like, "Hey, Joey, we just can't have you around."
yeah, and they're not. They're just like, whatever you want, whatever you like, whatever golden parachute
Yeah.
you like, we'll give it to you.
Yeah. Look, we want to make sure you're comfortable. We're gonna set you up with a nice severance package. Which I'm going. The mob doesn't do that.
No, they would just kill him.
And then they're actually upset when Chuck just blows him away.
Yeah.
I will say, love that Chuck's primary weapon is a sawed-off shotgun in
Yeah.
this movie. Love that. It's a sick gun.
There were several times where Maggie's just like, "What is this gun?" 'Cause
Yeah.
it's kind of like an all-purpose. It like can do
So,
everything. There's nothing it can't do.
It's what it is an insane weapon. As I'm looking at it here,
Yeah.
and we're in the same room here, so I can spin this around.
Yeah.
So what it is it's like a skeet shooting shotgun.
Yes.
Because it's
got the brake action.
It's got the brake open and the double barrels on top of each other, not
as
to the
opposed
side
to
of
the
each-
side. Yeah.
Right, but he's sawed it off down to the point of it being concealable. It's a crazy gun to carry,
Yes.
but I love it in this movie.
It is insane because that would be so ineffective.
It would
The range would be terrible.
well because you've
sawed it up.
You've taken a gun designed for accuracy
Yeah.
and made it inaccurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is chaos, but it looks cool as fuck on
It does
screen,
look very
man.
cool, and every time he reloads it, I'm just like, oh hell yeah.
And I love that he's got the bandolier of shells in a shoulder holster.
Yes, because he does dual wield at several points. So
He
he one
also-
hands the shotgun
Yeah.
and has a pistol in the other hand.
Dude, I love it, man. That's pure canon nonsense. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Where it's all it's all form over function with
Oh,
canon.
yes. Oh, absolutely.
And we are here for it. Also, just there is so much just laying waste with machine guns in this movie.
Yep.
It's the best. I do always think of canon movies as being like very Uzi heavy, and this
Yeah.
movie is just nonstop.
I mean, we've seen a lot of gunfights that are not very exciting.
This
you know?
movie-
this movie's pretty exciting.
This movie has 5 to 6 great gunfights in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And mostly just through complete chaos.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. You know, like what is like we've talked about people just kind of standing around shooting machine guns as not being very exciting. Is there like momentum to these fight scenes? You think? Or...
I think, yeah. I mean, I do think. Also, I don't think Aaron Norris is a bad director.
Right. Yeah.
I think he is. I think he comes from stunts.
Yeah.
So I think he does have a pretty good command over action.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think maybe as an acting director, I can't speak to that. But to be fair, he only directs movies with Chuck Norris. So.
Yeah. So how much direction is actually happening?
There's
Yeah.
a good question. Has he ever directed anything that Chuck wasn't in?
Oh, that is a great question.
Let me see here. What is Platoon Leader? I don't think this has Chuck. Oh, no, he did a Dudikoff movie for Canon.
Oh, okay.
And we'll have to get that. We'll have to have a Dudikoff month.
We should. We've still only seen the one movie, right?
I think
The
we've only
Shooter.
seen The Shooter.
Yeah.
We are definitely going to do American Ninja.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
a given. And then what's Good Cop, Bad Cop? I don't think Chuck is in this either. I don't know what this is.
It's got a good canon name to it.
It
though.
does, yeah. I mean, he's a Canon director. I think
Yeah.
all of his movies are for Canon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just those two, and then it's all Chuck movies.
Yeah.
He did do Sidekicks and Top Dog,
Okay.
which are both the Chuck family movies.
Yeah, Chuck teaming up with a child and a Chuck teaming up with a dog, I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, this was kind of a family movie.
Well, that's the weird thing. So, okay. The kid in this movie.
Yeah.
Every time there was a scene with this single mom and this kid,
It's a different movie.
When I was thinking, who is this for? Because the bloodthirsty divorced dads don't want to see this shit.
No, they don't.
And this movie isn't aimed at kids.
No, it's very violent.
Oh, this earns its R rating.
Horrendously violent. Yeah.
Yeah. It is nonstop bloodshed.
Yeah.
These people just being ripped apart by bullets for the most part.
It is just for Chuck, right? Is that
It's gotta
the only
be. It's
reason?
gotta be
He's
where
just
Chuck
like
is-
I gotta be like a good mentor to this child.
Well, because you
to
just,
this inner city child.
He loves this shit because this is so much of Walker. is
Exactly.
this.
Yes.
There's lots of Cordell Walker not just being a badass lawman, but being a role model for young kids. And I remember watching Walker as a kid, so I guess that worked.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Although I think even as a kid, I was bored by those scenes.
Of
where I'm
course.
like, get
That's
back
not-
to kicking.
That's not why we're here. Okay?
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting that he does make stuff like Sidekicks and things like that, where
Yeah.
he is like, well, now I'm just going to do that.
Right, exactly. At least then the tone could be a bit more cohesive.
His Saturday morning cartoon, Chuck Norris Karate Commandos.
I don't remember that.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was a thing. And I think he had a group of kids with him.
That
in it.
sounds
It was one
right.
of those things
Yeah,
where
that
it's
sounds
like,
right.
yeah, Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. Commandos with a K, of course.
Ooh, right. all
Karate
right.
Commandos, right?
Yeah, well, I guess as long as there's not another K.
Oh,
in
no,
there.
there isn't.
Okay.
Oh, boy, though. You want to talk about some racist stuff. This movie
It's pretty
has
racist.
Some weird casual racism and some weird racism is bad.
Yes, both.
It does both.
It's bad to be racist against African Americans,
Mm-hmm.
but
But when
but
Chuck,
Iranians.
when Chuck just casually throws out the term camel jockey later, I was like, fucking hell, man.
It's unclear if he was just doing it to instigate a fight.
Well, he was undercover.
He was undercover, but boy, they really don't dispute the fact that he's racist against these Iranians. So
Oh my god! Oh, that scene when he comes into the restaurant
crazy.
is complete insanity.
It is.
We'll
It is.
get there though.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, let's see. Let's talk about this siege that happens on the steamiest, emptiest street in Vancouver.
Yes.
The steam coming off of this street is insane.
Yes.
And there's not a soul in sight.
Nope.
Except for a horse-drawn carriage out of nowhere.
I was wondering if that was going to be important. No, they just wanted to gun down a horse.
That was why. But also kind of not make a big deal. Both make a big deal and not a big deal out of it.
Right, exactly.
It was a very weird scene.
It's incredibly strange, yes.
But I do love this, just like, here's our plan. We're going to wait for some guys to drive around that corner, and then we're just going to shoot the fuck out of them.
And it's also unclear. So they're shooting up the French, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right, and then the Iranians show up. So
right.
Okay.
And then it turns into a three-way gun
This
battle.
is where it started to get confusing.
And this is where you get, oh, what a primo death scene this one guy has. Because this guy gets shot like 40 times, but then he's still like walking forward going, oh!
And this is the guy. So there's. So Chuck Norris has a heart-to-heart with one of the Italian mobsters.
And that's the guy who's gonna get shot to ribbons.
Yeah, and he's like talking about how it's like, oh, I've known these guys for 20 years now.
Because keep in mind, Chuck Norris is with the Italian mafia.
Yes.
A very Italian-looking Chuck Norris.
Well, I think they make a point of saying that he's not Italian.
Right, he's not full-blood.
Because somebody says he doesn't smell like olive oil or something.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. This movie is also, I love that everybody is so their ethnicities in this movie.
Yes.
The Italian guys are always going, let's go get some pasta. And the French guys are going, no, let's get some wine to drink.
Yeah,
and the Iranian guys, of course, are watching a belly dancer and eating Iranian
hummus.
Yeah. And I'm going like, you can be these nationalities without literally living every aspect of the culture.
Not in a canon film,
24/7.
John.
No, it's just like, come on, man. They're going like, Magoo, let's get some lasagna.
Gabagoo.
Come on. And they're just going
Forget about it.
Yeah, it's just, they're going like, we got 95 minutes to establish 3 gangs. They are all going to be stereotypes.
We have no time. We have no time for subtlety here.
No, honestly, it is like, I mean, sure, it is objectively offensive. I'll hear that argument, but it does feel like it's just like we are stereotyping for the sake of speed.
And the soundtrack is crazy to this movie.
The soundtrack is nuts
because the opening song is like a shitty 80s song.
Oh god, it's so it is so like this band was rejected by so many
labels.
Yeah.
Andy
Preboy, On the Road Again is the name of the song.
Yeah, it's bad.
From the album Upon My Wicked Son.
Okay. That's such a stupid name.
By the way, can you call another song On the Road Again that isn't the Willie Nelson?
I know, right?
I gotta find this song.
Yeah. Because it's in direct contrast with the rest, like the entirety of the rest of the soundtrack.
Oh, sorry, that's an ad. Go ahead.
Like the rest of it is very synthy, moody, saxophone.
It's very
noir.
much trying to do like the Lethal Weapon kind of sound, where it's like kind of this mood. But the movie doesn't have that vibe in other places. Here. See if we get sued on the. Let me skip forward. Oh, there we go. It feels like something that would have been, but was probably rejected by Miami Vice.
Oh, yes. Just to remind everyone, this movie came out in the 90s.
Yeah, 1991. Oh, yeah!
Yeah. Yeah.
All bound the sail.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Yeah.
On the road
Again.
again. I don't want to get pulled off of YouTube or something for that.
Yeah.
So, but that just gives you that's how this movie opens up, with just like shots of the ducks.
Yes.
But yeah, then the rest of the movie is like wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, very moody, synthy, saxophone noir music.
Except for the scenes with the kid. Then
well,
it has
yes.
this weird like upbeat, like, I'm helping a kid, we're learning together.
Yeah.
Because I did go, oh my god, the second this kid's being bullied, I'm like, Chuck's gonna teach this kid karate.
He's gonna teach him karate, and then the kid is gonna defend himself against the bully, which that scene is crazy.
Nuts. And then of course though, that bully has an awful father who Chuck can beat up.
Yes, exactly.
Good Lord.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So we get this massive shootout, and then Chuck just goes home.
Yep. He's like, well, I've done my job. And then they're like, oh, God, we've been ambushed. He's like, I guess I'll turn around. Jesus.
Oh, boy.
I'm off the clock, man. I shouldn't even be here today.
Not even supposed to be here today. But he goes home to find, this kid sleeping outside of his apartment because I couldn't find the key.
Okay. It's really, really easy to duplicate keys. Was it more difficult in 1991 to duplicate a key?
No.
Because what Chuck should have done is duplicated the key for the mother instead of giving this child. So basically he invites this kid to like stay at his apartment because he lives down the hallway, I guess.
Right.
And
you can sleep on my couch.
you can sleep on my couch.
And I love that the kid lays down on the couch and then Chuck goes into his... By the way, Chuck sleeping in a futon in this?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of his character, John.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I love him taking off his gun and just dropping it on the bed or the futon.
Very safe.
What is the kid's name?
Tim.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Timmy.
So this is Salim Grant is this kid.
Yeah.
He did some work after this.
Well, that's good.
He was a regular on Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Okay.
Yeah, that other Saved by the Bell show.
Huh.
Uh-oh. Is this a picture of him with Cosby? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's Cosby's son and Ghost Dad.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Yikes.
Ooh.
There he is. Lots of pictures of him with Cos.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. All of his IMDb pictures have Cosby in them.
That was the big get for him, I guess. It's like, I was in a Cosby film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Guess what he's doing now?
He's playing Bill Cosby.
He is Snoop Dogg's producer.
Okay. Well,
that's what he is now.
Well, here's the thing about Snoop Dogg. Great guy.
Great guy, yeah. Fantastic guy. Well, I mean, compared to Cosby.
Yeah. Cosby's a fucking monster.
Yeah, I don't. Snoop Dogg doesn't have any of those kind of allegations against him. He's just high all the time.
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's
sure.
Fine. Yeah. So anyway, this kid is just. As soon as this kid got introduced, I'm going, oh, this is not this movie.
Nope.
No.
We've seen so many people's heads get blown open.
You can't have this blood-soaked gangster film.
Yes.
And then also be like, and I'm taking care of this kid.
Yeah. Because Chuck Norris would have to be a psychopath to do the things he does in this movie, right? Like what he does to the main villain at the end of the movie is so psychotic.
Is sadistic, man. It's so fucked up the way.
It's amazing.
This is the most psychotic way that anyone has killed a bad guy.
I will say, we've complained so many times about the main villains of the movies not getting the most ridiculous
Not
deaths.
in this one.
This movie really does save it for the main villain. I do appreciate that.
Does it ever? But yeah, it does make you go like, oh God, he had to rig that whole thing up for the purpose of it.
So much time to set up this death trap. But yes, he is a great role model.
Now, meanwhile,
yes,
Chuck's cohort in the mob is torturing this Iranian guy they've captured.
I did
by
forget about
force feeding him pork.
Yeah,
which would be against his religion.
It would be against his religion. And
eat that pork, you son of a bitch!
And the scene goes on for way too long.
It goes on. This is half the movie, right?
It felt like it at this point.
It's so gross and uncomfortable as he just goes, "You eat that pork, you piece of shit!" And then I'm gonna tell all your friends you ate some pork.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some pictures of you eating pork.
Okay. Oh, look at these pork chops.
Yeah, I made some grilled sausages for you.
And because this guy has this big beard, it's just smeared all over his. It's so
disgusting.
gross.
It's disgusting.
And it's one of the weirdest scenes.
Yes,
But don't worry.
I think it awakens some sort of sexuality in some of these divorced dads. Oh, I could go for some pork.
You know, I gotta pause this movie and go get some pork.
Hold on. I gotta make a stop at IHOP.
Give me all the pork you got. Yeah. I'm watching the Hitman.
Yeah, it's a regular thing. The local manager at IHOP is like, "Oh God, the Hitman again."
Sir, did you rent the Hitman tonight? I did. I did. I need some
Guilty
pork.
as charged.
Well, what can you say? I'm a big Chuck fan. Now throw me another brew dog. Somebody's got their brew dog and their pork chop, and they're watching the Hitman going
Double fisting it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because this Italian guy is going to get literally gutted in the next scene.
And this is really the main scene to contrast with the teaching a child how to defend themselves.
The man is cut open and his guts are spilling out.
His guts are literally spilling out.
Like his intestines are
And then he
exposed.
makes his friend shoot him in the head.
Come on, yeah.
You gotta do it. No, don't. What?
Don't chicken out, man.
You gotta do it.
You're my friend.
You're my best friend.
You gotta shoot me right in the head. And he does, and you're just going like, what is this movie?
Cut to Chuck being like, all right, so this is how you want to defend yourself.
What cut to, I think right after that, is Chuck going, you like model planes, son?
It feels so much like that from Airplane.
Yeah.
Where
You like gladiator movies, Timmy?
You ever hang around a gymnasium?
Yeah. Isn't a grown man naked? Yeah, get Peter Graves in here, man.
You know, I was thinking about finishing up a model plane. You want to help me out with it, Timmy?
Yeah.
That would be the best.
Yeah,
You're so cool.
When this was going, I'm like, what the fuck? I just saw a man's intestinal tract. And his mother's just going, it's so hard working 3 jobs and trying to raise a boy.
This is like,
And she's also going, thanks, Mr. Grogan, for helping us get this apartment. I'm going, God damn it,
What
Chuck.
the fuck?
You've
What?
always got to be the best guy there is.
even when you're a fucking psychopath.
Oh, he murders so many people.
So
in this
many
movie.
people, yeah.
And murders.
Yes.
I don't know what this government program he's part of, but they are totally cool with him just dropping bodies left and right.
Yeah, must be the CIA, right?
Well, it's such a weird thing where I'm going, the other way you could have it is just have him be like a Punisher type.
Yes.
Where he was a cop and now he's just on his own being a vigilante.
Yeah, it's his own mission to take down this criminal organization, maybe?
I guess so, yeah. Well, I mean, because we do eventually get to him seeding this battle between them.
Yes.
And that is like I think there are Punisher stories like that where he's literally
That sounds
setting
right.
up gangs to kill each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that would be fine. The having the government agency guy confuses this movie so much.
It only complicates it, yeah.
Because you are just going, what are the goals of this government agency? And 2, they obviously don't get achieved by the end of the movie.
No, I don't think so.
Well,
I mean, I guess all the gangs die?
Well, was that their goal?
I don't know.
We also, as we said, don't know what agency this is,
No.
what their mission is, what
No.
their we
It's
don't really
never
know
explained.
what anyone's objectives are in this. I don't even understand Michael Parks. He's just evil
He's just evil, yeah.
because he's working. He's
With
like
the
playing,
Iranians.
yeah, but pretending to work with the French or the Italians. He's like double crossing people.
I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he's-
because because the Italians and him team up to kill the French.
Right.
But then he betrays the Italians.
Right.
Does he betray the Iranians as well, or is I don't
I
remember.
gotta consult my notes.
I mean, this
on
is
that when we
this
get
is all like end of the movie stuff. We're kind of all over the place here, which is fair because this movie's all over the place.
there. One of my favorite scenes is where the Iranians come up to these guys who are doing a drug deal.
Yeah.
And they kill the one guy, and then they tell the other guy, "You're free to go." And then I'm going, "Dude, don't get in that car because it's gonna blow up."
Right. they're so stupid.
But the guy's like, ha ha ha, well, what do you know? They let me live. Kaboom!
My favorite.
This is where I went, that car is going to explode because it's a cannon movie.
Yes, yeah, and it did.
Oh, it does, and a fireball.
My favorite scene in this movie is when I think the French guy goes on a walk through, like a hike through the wilderness for no reason.
Yeah.
And is ambushed by the Iranian.
Well, first
mob.
he finds a bunch of guys strung upside down and like with their throats slit.
Yeah, and he's like, I would say doing a pretty good performance of being terrified.
He is.
Like it is kind of horrifying because of his performance.
That guy's pretty good. I thought.
Yeah, I mean his accent is not.
Well,
right
it doesn't.
for
It
the
doesn't
movie,
fit.
but yeah, I think he does do a good
That's
job.
just that guy's accent.
Yes,
that guy
of
is
course.
from Quebec.
Yes.
But that's Marcel Saborn, who's a character actor in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of French, a lot of like Canadian movies. And
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that. I think reasonably everybody's pretty good in this.
For the most part, yeah.
A lot of these are Canadian actors.
It was filmed up in Canada, right?
Yeah. Anything to save money.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
If
the
it's
attitude.
if it's supposed to take place in Canada, it might as well be filmed there.
Yeah. And it was entirely filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yep.
And it looks like it. But I will say, nice that they did set it there. At least.
Yeah.
It's not the thing where they're telling me that Vancouver is New York.
Oh, you mean like in the X-Files? In the first 4 seasons?
Yeah, I think
4 or 5 seasons.
because then they end up moving to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And the show does look a lot different.
It does. Yeah, it's true.
But then when they did the new seasons, they went back to Vancouver,
Which is the way to go.
It is, yeah. X-Files should be shot up there. So yeah, they blow up that guy. All right, now we're to the racist bullies. So across the street,
Yes.
from their apartment building,
Yes.
is just a gang of racist kids
Yeah. It's just like a gaggle of 4 or 5 racist children.
being egged on by one of the fathers of these kids,
Yes.
who is just like, he is basically just fist pumping hate crimes. Well, because they're chasing the kid home, and I'm going, oh, it's just normal schoolyard bullies.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Right, is what I thought. It's like, he's a nerd, they're chasing him.
Yeah.
And then the father comes out and goes, yeah, man, you gotta catch a coon before you can skin him. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's full.
You talk about, I had to back it up to go like, did I hear that right?
Right, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it it went from one to racist real quick.
It really did, and I'm going, well, and it did also make me go once again, like, what? You're a canon movie. Don't confront racism.
No.
Just have the kid have bullies at school.
Yes.
It didn't have to be racially motivated.
I think this is Chuck, right?
I think it is.
Because
Chuck wants to take a stand against racism.
Well, specific kinds of racism, but
Well, yeah, he doesn't look. No, or Gorham Globus is like, yeah, call him Camel Jockey.
yeah. Hey, I got some script revisions for you.
Here you go. Yeah. It seems to just be mostly slurs against Middle Eastern people.
Yeah, that's what I added.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yes. Now excuse us as we go back to Israel to dodge tax problems.
So yeah, Chuck watches this and then he goes in and he's like, "What's the matter, Timmy?"
Once again, we've shifted now into an after-school special.
He's saying from his room as he's taking off his bandolier of shotgun shells.
Well, there is this dichotomy with Chuck where it's like he made these like violent movies,
Yeah.
but I think this is what he really wants to
Yes,
do. I
yes.
think in his core he is like wholesome dad.
Yes. Like Walker Texas Ranger is like the perfect distillation of him.
It is, because it vacillates between those things.
Yeah.
He takes down some criminals.
Yes.
But there's a lot of him moralizing in it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of like, well, kids, it is trouble. And, gee, thanks, Walker. And network TV was a great place for him because that shit can fly there.
Yes.
This movie is just shifting violently between the...
Yes.
And I was watching... I definitely was thinking this because I'm going, no way in hell Charles Bronson would be going, now what's the matter, Timmy?
Had a rough day at school.
No, actually, it's worse than that. I just remember the line that I had to back out to make sure. He goes, what's wrong, Tiger? He does. He says that to him.
That feels like a Chuck Norris improvisation.
Yeah, because I can't imagine. Once again, Bronson going, "Hey, had a rough day at school, Tiger. Maybe it's time I murder all the bullies." Charles Bronson would have shot all these kids.
When I was a boy, I was also bullied.
Oh my God! So this is fucking crazy.
Yes.
When Chuck Norris commiserates with this kid because he too was a victim of racism.
Yes, because he grew up on an Indian reservation.
Yeah, where he was ostracized for being white. One of the only other things on the trivia, this came from Chuck Norris's life.
Oh,
yeah.
It feels like it
this
does.
is based on his life
really
of being
feels like it does.
Chuck was the only white kid on an Indian reservation apparently growing up.
So like everything that Steven Seagal pretended to be Chuck Norris actually was, is
yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah. They talk about the story Chuck Norris' character tells about being harassed by bullies actually did happen to Norris while he was growing up.
Yeah.
That was true.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I guess that's good, but I did start to go like, oh man, Chuck Norris going, I too know what it's like to be persecuted for your race.
Right.
Like,
Well, it's not. Well, I don't expect a movie that came out in 1991 to understand the difference between a person being racist and a system that oppresses an entire like population of
no,
people.
I mean, like, once again, it's like good. I generally agree with the movie that you shouldn't be racist, but it is making this very simple, and
Yes.
it's a very simple review of
Yes.
you shouldn't attack people for being a different race.
Yes, it's showing racism as its broadest, most like caricatured version. It's like when people say, "Oh, I'm not racist because I don't physically attack black people." This is what they mean.
That is exactly what it means.
Yeah.
So Chuck did grow up in Prairie Village, Kansas.
Okay.
Which is primarily Shawnee, Osage, and Kansa Indians.
Okay.
So yeah.
So
Chuck, I mean, when Chuck brings in some Native American stuff, he actually, I mean, I'm not saying he's obviously not Native American,
and he
but
never claims to be.
He never does, but when that comes into his stuff, he does have some
experience with
it. Chuck is not the piece of shit that Seagal is.
No. I was talking with my brother yesterday. I mentioned that I was going to be watching a Chuck Norris movie. And he's like, how is Chuck Norris as a person? Like, is he like Steven Seagal shitty? I'm like, I don't think so. Not that I've seen.
He's
like nobody's as shitty as
No.
Steven Seagal might be the worst human being that's ever existed.
No, he's Republican.
He does lean
he's
conservative.
He's Christian Republican, but he's not a Trump guy. He's a Ted Cruz guy though.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he has done Cruz rallies.
Oh boy.
So
guilty by association.
But it is kind of a thing where he just kind of generally he's old man Republican.
Yeah.
That's
he's like Clint Eastwood Republican.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's sort of like they're just vaguely Republican, but like here's a picture of him with Mike Huckabee.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly. Here he is buddying up with George W. Bush, but he's not. Nothing about his stance on Trump.
Interesting.
In here. I think
weirdly silent.
I think just quiet on that. I think it's just the idea here. But what is this here though? He's received. That's interesting. But has received pushback for criticizing Mormons.
Oh,
now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. So I think he and I wouldn't get along if we discussed anything of a serious matter.
Probably not.
But I think everything I've heard, he seems like a somewhat nice guy.
Yeah.
There was that guy who was pretending to be him at the January 6th rally.
Which is crazy.
There was a guy who looked a lot like him. People were taking pictures with him, and Chuck had to come out and go, That's not me.
I-
Please don't drag me into this.
I was somewhere else at the time. Please do not
Chuck is
blame me.
82 years old.
He's not going to be. Yeah, he's not going to be in a riot that storms the Capitol.
Are you kidding me?
No.
But I think the other thing is he's 82 years old. I don't even know how involved in anything he, like.
Probably not. I think he just shows up, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing too, where it's sort of like he's the kind of guy who's like, yeah, thank God for all my blessings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Whatever. He takes a lot of photos in cowboy hats. on his Instagram, it's a lot of him in cowboy hats.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and here he is doing a demonstration. He's still out there doing karate, and is definitely coloring that hair. My God, that hair still brown.
At 82.
Can I tell you about the fact that he has his own brand of bottled water, though? That makes me laugh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find the...
Is it called Walker Water?
Oh, it should be.
Water Walker?
It's called C-Force.
That... C-Force 1.
Let me see if I can get a good... Here's what it looks like.
Oh, wow.
And it's got the image of him in the cowboy hat.
The branding is kind of like Axe body spray.
It is. It's in that. Well, it's a manly product, right? Oh, look at this.
What
look
could
at
be
this
manlier
ad.
than
look at
drinking
that
water?
Look
out of
at
a
that.
bottle? Oh yeah.
Pure, powerful, perfect.
Hell yeah.
C-Force.
Open denim vest.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Big old belt buckle. It's-
There he is at the bottling company with his wife.
Yeah.
I mean, look, most of his stuff is just. He's mainly just shilling products at this point.
Yeah,
like
well,
a lot
you
know what?
You gotta
Whatever,
cash in
man.
on your celebrity
And
status.
as
a little
far
bit.
as products to go, bottled water's fine. I'm sure they're overcharging, but whatever. Who
It's not
cares?
like it's Nestle bottling water.
No, and he's not doing the like supplements bullshit at least. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he's
man.
not taking drinking water from like indigenous populations or anything.
I
like
don't
that.
think so. No, I think he's. You know what? Like I said, some of these guys, I just go, whatever, man. The spectrum of like, there's not much to harp on about Chuck Norris.
Sure, yeah.
He's not active enough. He's not writing books. He's not, you know.
Yeah.
I think he was like doing Bowflex at one point too.
I remember that. Yeah. In, like
I don't know
early
if
2000s, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it was actually Bowflex, but it was one of those things like that. Total Gym or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
You could look like Chuck Norris. So he tells him his story, and then we just get a montage of him teaching him how to fight.
Yep.
That I love ends with this woman coming over and him basically being like, "Get out of here, kids! Sex time now."
Yeah, it's so uncomfortable.
You want to talk about one of the weirdest scenes in this movie when she goes to slap him and it turns sexy,
Yes.
and then he disappears.
Goes down on her.
I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
All I know is he disappears below camera. No clothes appear to be moved.
No.
And then she has no reaction. There's there's nothing to indicate. But what else am I supposed to take from the visuals than that he's going down on her? But the movie's just like, yeah, that's about as much as we're gonna do.
Yeah, I
think it's interesting that Chuck would be perceived as giving oral sex.
I know. Yeah, that is. I don't think I've ever seen that in another. Like, how many? He doesn't really have a lot of movies with like sex scenes.
No, he's pretty asexual on screen, and honestly, even this is pretty light.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
There's no Chuck thrusting into her or anything like that.
There's no Tommy Wiseau butt shots.
Look
in
at
here.
my ass. But I will say that there is a line in here I wrote down as a one-liner when she comes to see him. She goes, he's a nice boy when the kid leaves, and he goes, I didn't think you liked nice boys, just big ones.
So weird.
So weird. And this weird scene where she like goes to slap him, but then it's like, ooh.
Okay.
This is like Klingon foreplay, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's. And then we just cut to Chuck is going to a meeting with the crime boss. He's gonna
and this crime boss and the woman are seeing each other, right?
I think so.
So Chuck and her are having an affair.
Yeah, which is kind of a classic gangster movie thing. Like, you sleeping with the boss's girl.
Does that pay off in any
No.
way?
I mean, she gets
she's killed by who?
She's killed by the guy.
By the Italian guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess presumably for having an affair with Chuck.
But he doesn't take it out on Chuck.
No.
It's just her. And in fact, he kind of confronts Chuck about it, but then it's just like, I love this guy.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's so weird.
But anyway, let's talk about Chuck going, who cares about it? He proposes an alliance with the French guy who doesn't take it.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. But then he goes to this Iranian restaurant where, we watch a woman belly dance for too long.
For way too long, yeah.
Oh my God, though. You just talk about, like, where I was shaking my head in this movie.
Yeah.
When Chuck dips his hands in the hummus here, and then he goes, tastes like shit.
You guys eat this?
Yeah. And I thought, oh, great. You know what? Murder people, but let's not insult the cultures. Also, hummus is great. I mean,
I love hummus, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is bad hummus.
Oh, of course.
But probably not in a restaurant like this. This would be where
That's where the good stuff
Yeah,
would
the
be.
really good shit would be in there.
Yeah.
These are the kind of places I seek out for that sort of thing.
Again, I'm not going to defend the behavior in this scene, but I kind of got the impression he was just trying to be as insulting as possible.
I think he was, and he's also there claiming he represents the French guy.
Exactly, because this is his action to set those two.
He's trying to
against each
eliminate
other.
the French and the Iranians by having them kill each other.
Yes.
Which is, once again, classic mob movie kind of stuff.
Yeah, but it is a weird contrast to the scene that happened not that long ago where he's talking about people's differences.
Yeah. And then he's like, you fucking can't. With this
like,
fucking shit you're shoveling your mouths that you call food. Fucking.
It is weird. It really is a weird contrast to that.
And then he beats the shit out of these guys.
Oh yeah.
Before then the guy who got fed the pork comes in and he's like, hey, you, I know you. And Chuck,
he just murders him.
Chuck pulls out that shotgun and blows this guy out the front window. And then once again, talk about lame one-liner, he goes, drop dead. Which you could say for any killing in any action movie.
It's true, yeah.
Chuck, we have talked about this. He, much like the Firewalker, he's not the one-liner
Nope.
guy.
No, he is
shouldn't
not.
be doing the one-liners.
No.
It always feels uncomfortable and forced when he does them.
Yes.
He never seems to naturally deliver these. He's not like a Schwarzenegger who lives to deliver these.
That's like Schwarzenegger at his acting best is when he's delivering one-liners.
Schwarzenegger, Stallone, that was their thing.
Yeah.
Van Damme also isn't fantastic with them. They just don't feel natural coming from them.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, you get the sense that they're chuckling as they're saying them.
Yes, exactly.
And I was thinking about that recently because I've been, as I'm always watching something.
The anatomy of a one-liner?
Well, I was thinking about the origin of the one-liner, and I think it's Connery. I think it's Connery and Bond.
Yeah.
I think he's the first one. You go back to Dr. No, and there's the thing where the guys drive off the cliff, and they go, oh my God, what happened to those guys? And Connor goes, they were on their way to a funeral. And I think that, to me, is maybe the first, action movie one-liner I can think of.
Because Bond is kind of very integral to this genre, really.
Yeah, the Bond movies are kind of the beginnings of action cinema.
Yeah.
As we know it, and franchise, big movie.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. We've talked about that the first action movie is maybe North by Northwest.
Yes.
Because I do think you got to roll Hitchcock into the invention of action movies.
Definitely, yeah.
But I do think that quippy one-liner after killing somebody, I think that's Bond.
Yeah, there's a lot of staples in action movies that come from Bond.
Oh yeah. I mean, the formation of villains, the just kind of the structure of an action movie.
The cold open action sequence.
The cold open action sequence, the big battle ending, a lot of that stuff comes from Bond, and it's interesting to see the way that. But
the
I was
eccentric
watching
henchman.
I was watching Dr. No the other day, and when he said that, I go, I think this is the earliest I can think of that somebody tossed off a one-liner after taking out some bad guys.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that became such a staple of the Bond franchise.
Yes.
You have to zing the people.
Yes, exactly.
And once again, some are better. Connery was great at it. Roger Moore was maybe the best.
Yes.
That guy loved a one-liner.
He sure did.
He loved that more than anything.
Yes.
But so yeah, okay. We talked about the scene where the guy finds all the people dead in the forest. Mm-hmm. That's the leader of the French.
Good lord, that sequence.
And then I do love the idea that like guys are like hung up in trees with their throats slit, but then they just open up with a machine gun on this guy.
Yep. Well, they don't kill him, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they kill his henchmen who are like following him around.
Right, and they're shooting everybody else.
Yes, and they leave him alive.
Meanwhile, we cut back to Chuck, who's now going to watch this kid defend himself.
Yep. He's like, whatever you decide, I will not judge you.
Yeah. I would have loved if this kid turned around and just like ripped this other kid's throat out.
Nice.
As I said, I won't judge you.
I made a claim, and I will stick to it.
He pulls a Swayze in Roadhouse and just tears a throat out. We got to do a Roadhouse commentary.
Yeah.
I love that movie, man. That movie's insane.
Boy, this fight between these two children is really not interesting to watch.
It really isn't. This kid, the racist kid, mostly gets his ass handed to him.
Yes.
And then, and then finally they're just like, well, we haven't pushed it far enough, so we'll just have the father drop the N-word here.
Yep. Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ!
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, he drops it towards Chuck, too, calling him an N-word lover.
Yes.
And that causes Chuck to walk across the street and punch this guy through a screen
door. It was so good.
It was pretty great.
So good.
And I do like the lack of one-liner here where he's just like, yeah, that guy is just...
Yeah, that is what Chuck should do.
Chuck, just give Chuck that stoic look where it's like,
yes,
you've been dealt with.
Yeah.
And a lot of martial arts guys were like that. Like Bruce Lee didn't drop one-liners.
Nope.
It was more just like the, you got you, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't need to say anything. His martial arts did all the talking for him.
Yeah, let your fist do the talking, man.
Yeah.
Or your feet in Chuck's case. Oh, this was a punch.
Yes.
And it is, I at this point was going, where is this movie going? Like we're talking about, there really is no plot.
No.
But of course, when Chuck comes back to his apartment, the boss comes to see him. This is when the
Italian boss comes to see him.
Yeah, and they go out. I love this. He goes, let's go get some food. And then we cut to Chuck immediately coming home and go, what was the point of that? It's only so Michael Parks can return, now having captured the kid.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, good. Good, the kid is back.
Yep. Oh, good.
And we get this whole scene where he's like, I knew it was you. Yes, haha. I'm the bad guy. And you're like, man, of course. What? I figured Michael Parks was going to come back at some point. I spent the whole movie going, when's Michael Parks going to come back? I
can't wait for him to show back up again.
Well, it just seems like you have Michael Parks. He's got to be the main bad guy.
Yeah.
But then the problem with that, once again, makes it like, then what was the point of any of the gang war stuff?
I don't know. Was it all to get Michael Parks? Well, no, because Chuck Norris is surprised by Michael Parks showing up.
And that's the thing where it's like, you could really have simplified the script where it is, he fakes his death, he goes undercover, and it's all to get revenge on Michael Parks.
Yes.
That would have given this movie much more like momentum.
Yes.
Because the movie moves at a fast clip, but in terms of like story progress,
well, nobody has any goals.
No.
And nobody's striving towards goals. So there's no like, there's no trajectory.
It only now, after this scene, in the final act of the movie, becomes, now I have to get Michael Parks.
Exactly. But before that, things are just happening because.
So Michael Parks tells him off here and then goes outside, and the one-liners come back once Michael Parks. Before he detonates this bomb in the apartment, he says, "Ride 'em, cowboy, motherfucker." I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But he blows up a child.
He blows up this kid, and I couldn't believe it. This kid survived somehow.
It was on a chair, right?
Yeah.
The kid wasn't on the chair. He was near the chair. Is that correct?
Yeah, but it still would have obliterated this.
Yes!
Because we see this fireball blow out the side of the apartment, and Chuck is in front of the door, and he gets thrown back by the thing, and the door's off the hinges, and the kid is just kind of scorched.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this is exactly what would happen if you gave this child your fucking key, you psychopath. Like, why did you do that? Like, it's so irresponsible.
My favorite note I have here in my notes is I just wrote, "Mom cries over blown up son." Because we get this poor woman she's just like, oh Lord,
yeah.
Oh, why my son? Why do you have to get blown up?
And she's not mad at Chuck at all.
Nope.
She's like, why did this happen? Like, he never at any point has to explain why his apartment blew up.
Nope. So she's crying over her blown up son, and I'm real sorry your son blew up. But and Chuck is just in the doorway going, ooh, I don't like any of this.
Go get him. And she's like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this. The
Yeah.
medical bills.
Yeah, well, don't worry.
Yeah.
But this is the scene where he talks to his government official boss, and he's like, you just stay out of my way. Because now we get the like, oh, come on, Chuck, don't just take the law into your own hands. Which, by the way, what else has he been doing?
That's all he's done
Yeah.
so far. That's his only move.
So he's gonna go kill everybody now.
Yeah.
But first we're gonna get, oh God, so much double crossing of people.
Yes.
It's
It's kind of like that scene from Community in the conspiracy theory episode.
where they all just keep turning and shooting each other.
And the dean's just like, I don't know, everybody kept double crossing each other and they wanted to cooperate with me. And I just kept saying yes.
Word that my hoodie were a time hoodie.
Honestly, one of my favorite episodes.
Dude, that show. I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah.
But it does lead to because they set up with the Iranians that he double crosses the Italians. Michael Parks shoots the Italian mob boss.
Yes.
Who does have to do I'm shot and I fall into Michael Parks' arms.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh. But it allows Michael Parks 2 one-liners killing this guy. He pulls his gun and says, "Arrivederci, asshole," and shoots him. Then the guy falls, and he's like, oh, and he falls, and then he goes, out with a bang and a whimper.
So many.
But then the wall to this warehouse
Now,
explodes.
this might be the greatest entrance I've ever seen for a character.
I will say, I watched the trailer for this. This is the first shot of the trailer.
Okay.
Is Chuck coming out of the smoke?
Yeah, with 2 guns.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, because the trailer starts with that image. It's like, Chuck Norris, is back. Right? Like, that's... Because, in some theater, there was one of our divorced dads going, oh, yeah! Chuck's back, baby! Yeah! Oh, he's like shaking the person next to him going, Chuck is back!
My boy!
Yeah. Dude, I don't even want to see this movie anymore. I'm just waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Sir, how'd you get that beer in here? What?
I found it.
Crazy now that they serve beer.
It is weird.
That is bizarre. And everybody does. It's no longer just the specialty things. It's
Yeah.
wild. I was at a movie... This is a total tangent, but I was in a movie theater the other day where they had boozy slushies now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like they have the normal icy machine, and then they have the, Jack Daniels
Is that kind of like a... Is that more of like a... It's like a bar slash... Kind of like how McMinimans serves, their beer and wine and stuff at their movie theaters.
No, this was at a Regal Cinema,
Is that
man.
a Regal?
It was at a Regal Cinema,
Jesus.
downtown here in Portland.
Whoa.
And yeah, I know. I couldn't believe I wasn't. It was like 11 in the morning, and I don't drink, so I was not getting one. But I still was like, man, there's
It's probably $20.
Oh, I can't even. That's the other thing too, where I go you know what? Even if I did drink, I would just get beers after the movie because,
Or you sneak them in.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
because
get a camel pack filled with Jack Daniels slushies.
I'm just saying, I was just going that is what
a Jack pack, if you will.
it's a Jack pack.
Yeah.
It's a Jack pack. But I am just going that is wild to me. They're churning up boozy slush.
Well, theaters really they're
really
trying to find
desperate for the money.
Yeah,
now.
they're trying to find what will bring people in.
Because I don't even know what they're charging for a beer at the movies, but it's got to be.
It's
out
a
of
lot.
Control.
It's
yeah,
a lot. It's
gotta-
probably for a single glass of Guinness. It's over $10 or something.
Yeah, that's just insane. That's just wild to me.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm not even paying their prices for soda.
No.
Yeah,
it's all overpriced.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely wild. Welcome to Two Old Men Yell About the Cost of Things.
Hey, it's so expensive.
Back in my day, we didn't have booze at the movies.
If we wanted booze at the movies, we snuck it in.
And we liked it.
And we loved it.
yeah, this is one of the best. We don't have a shelfie for entrances. Maybe that's a next
But
year
it is.
category.
This would
be
win.
it. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, best entrance.
Even and this movie's stupid, was still like, oh yeah, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, it has that WWE like, I don't know where it's Chuck Norris.
Yeah. From this point on, this is the greatest like Chuck Norris movie of all time.
Dude, this is a front runner for best shootout to me.
Yeah,
Is this warehouse shootout, because he is just obliterating.
He's like Terminator style, just calmly walking through, just blowing people away.
Okay, the best in this, and
Yes.
it's not a death. When he blows out this Iranian guy's knees,
Yes.
he doesn't kill the guy, though.
No. Just blows out his knees.
So it doesn't count as Beth's death, but it is amazing. We watched these guys' knees explode.
It was very reminiscent of the end of Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Now that took it the next step where you saw the bone snap and
Snapping
fold
out.
back.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Oh, dude, I love that. We gotta do a commentary for that.
We should, yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that movie's insane.
Yeah. That's a movie that definitely carries that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy somehow crawls his way into the cab of a truck. Then after that,
Yep.
Also, Chuck can set up Chuck with this one liner. He goes, "I'm not afraid to die.
Are you?
Are you?"
Yeah.
And then he shoots the guy. And goes, "Guess not." Damn, man.
Because this was set up in the scene where he was super racist at the bar. Because they're like, "You want to die?" He's like, "I'm not afraid to die." You know, he says that before. So this is the payoff of that.
Yeah, and it's pretty good, man.
pretty good.
And
It's pretty
Chuck is just laying waste to guys. Here.
Yeah, yes.
And it is something. But Michael Parks manages to run out of here and run to the second level of this place. Now, I want to follow Chuck's trajectory here.
How does he get up there?
Because Michael Parks runs upstairs to the second level. They're in this warehouse.
Yes.
Because it's
of course.
it's a canon movie. It's got to end in some sort of industrial setting.
Yeah, unclear purpose.
A vague crime warehouse,
Yeah,
right? But Michael Parks runs up to the second level of it.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris is shooting everybody on the first level.
And Michael Parks is like, "Where are you hiding?" I'm like, he's not hiding. He's in a gunfight downstairs.
Yeah. And then through the window of this second floor, Chuck comes swinging in like Batman.
On a rope.
Yeah.
Where did he get the rope from?
So this implies he shot everybody on the first level.
Left the building.
Got up on the roof, got a rope, and swung down and into this window, right?
Yes, that is what this movie is implying.
Are you fucking kidding me? I love this,
It was
though.
great. It was
It's
great.
the best, because I went, oh my God, he swings in.
And I love that that's not the end of this rope being used.
No.
Yeah.
He has the the reason he did that is to have this rope available for what's going to happen next.
Yes.
Well, we do get, I will say, Michael Parks versus Chuck Norris in hand-to-hand combat.
It's, you know.
But Parks is great because he's going like, that was a nice move. When he would get hit, that kind of thing.
Yes.
He's doing the crazy guy laughing at getting hit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this fight, man.
It was good. It was fun.
And Chuck is roundhouse kicking him.
Yeah.
I do like the moment when Chuck finally just hits him in the ankle and he snaps him or whatever.
Oh, yes.
It's
yes.
like, oh!
Classic.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
And that is all so he can then pass out and wake up.
In the most, like... it's very Saw inspired. It feels very like
Chuck has taped him to a chair.
Yes.
Then hung the chair outside the window.
Yes. On the rope that he swung in on.
On the rope that he swung in on.
Yes.
Because let's see. And we should say at some point we cut back and there's a box full of cash they left in the hospital.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Just to wrap that subplot
they do cut to that to give Chuck to cut back for the time lapse of Chuck having now set up this death trap.
Yes.
It is very soft.
It is a weird. I don't know if it's an intentional juxtaposition they have just done of two separate actions that Chuck Norris's character has done in this movie.
But honestly, the two things juxtaposed make him seem even more psychotic to me.
He's so unhinged. He's giving a present of money to this single mother and also a Saw death machine.
When he was hanging outside the window, I thought, oh, interesting, they're going to have him not kill him and pull a Batman.
That's what I
and just
thought.
leave
Like,
him,
yeah, end of Dark Knight.
The cops are rolling up.
Yes.
And I thought, okay,
Yes.
you want to talk about psychotic?
Yes.
What Chuck says to him?
Remind me.
If you have to piss your pants, just squeeze your cheeks real tight.
That is a reference to something he said earlier, right? That Michael
There was
Parks
something
said.
like that,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
remember specifically, but it was a callback to that.
Because then the boss is like, all right, Chuck, we got the guy or whatever. And he's like, oh, wait a minute.
Hold on, one more thing.
And he hits a detonator, and Michael Parks explodes into chunks.
It just chunks, and the window is splattered with Michael Parks chunks.
It's raining down on the
Yeah.
cops below.
Why did he wait till the police showed up to blow this man
He
up?
needed an audience and then his boss is going, "Oh God damn it!
Come on, man!
We needed him alive for questioning." And Chuck's response, he goes, "We need him alive for questioning." Chuck's on his way out of bed. He goes, "Ain't life a bitch?" End of movie.
So then Chuck is arrested, I'm assuming, after. For Oh my god, this movie is insane.
I love this movie, man.
I did too.
I enjoyed the hell out of this thing.
It was crazy.
Ain't life a bitch?
Ain't life a bitch.
The Hitman. When the Hitman is rolling and he's gonna be. I'm so bummed there wasn't a song.
Yeah,
he's
like-
the Hitman.
Like Murphy's Law.
Yeah,
Every one of these movies needs a Murphy's Law-esque song.
Agreed. He's the Hitman.
The Hitman cometh.
The Hitman cometh is great. Yeah. Oh man, because you know what we need more Eugene O'Neill.
I think so.
References.
I think so.
Okay. Well, we really do have some business to actually take care of in this. Parks blowing up is the death
Yes.
of the movie.
Oh,
right?
100%.
There's no question.
Yes.
But
They did the thing.
They did the thing, but it's not a death. But I do just want a special shout out to those knees exploding.
yes,
too,
that was
'cause
also
that was
very good.
amazing. But we do have a number of one-liners to pick from here.
Yes.
So first off, we start with Michael Parks and his "It's so goddamn cold, my dick is like a short stack of buttons."
It's quite a way to start a film.
Chuck punching a guy and saying, "Welcome to my world." I didn't think you liked nice boys, just big ones.
Oh boy.
Chuck shooting a guy out a window and saying, "Drop dead." Before blowing up a child, Michael Parks says, "Ride 'em cowboy, motherfucker." Arrivederci, asshole. Followed by, "He went out with a bang and a whimper." "I'm not afraid to die, are you?" Bang, guess not. If you have to piss your pants, just squeeze your cheeks real tight. And then finally, "Ain't life a bitch?"
Okay. I think it's "Are you afraid to die?"
Ooh,
Guess not.
that's good.
I think it's the most class. It feels very classic. As far as the Chuck one-liners, it works the best
I do think
because
of the Chuck ones.
they bother to set it up.
They
you
do.
know,
They
and
do.
and it pays that off.
They do. I still am kind of prone to "He went out with a bang and a whimper."
Also a very good one.
Yeah.
Also a very good one.
Yeah, that's tough. Ooh, what do we give it to there? Do we want to give it to the Chuck one because he's the hero?
The only argument I have for Chuck here is that so many of his one-liners are bad
That-
in all of his
that we
movies.
should recognize when
The
they gave
one
him a good-
time it
Yeah,
actually
I'll give
kind
you
of
that.
worked.
Just
Yeah.
just for the I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go with that.
But both were very good.
both were very those are down the stretch.
Yeah.
They get better because some of the other. I mean, for sheer randomness, "Ride 'em cowboy, motherfucker." Doesn't even make any. I don't even know what that has to do with the situation, man.
Nothing.
All right. Well, I do have some reviews here. Of course, you know it's my mission to find the strangest reviews on IMDb. This one comes from Cargon. That's how I'm pronouncing this.
Okay.
And he titles his review, "Another One of Chuck's Hits." Again with the negative Chuck Norris reviews. Why? An action movie doesn't have to have state-of-the-art special effects to be great. Chuck Norris embraces his darker side in The Hitman, which I was surprised to find was directed by his brother Aaron. By the way, he keeps spelling The Hitman, hit-man?
Weird.
Like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
That's weird.
The Hitman has got some really funny one-liners and some added cheese here and there, but I guess you can't make a pizza without sprinkling on some cheesy goodness.
Okay.
Not only is this the first for Chuck Norris having a darker hero role, but it marks the second time I've heard him drop the F-bomb, which is pretty rare for Chuck. My favorite part is when Chuck tries to help a young boy with a bully, but as it turns out, the bully has a bully father to whom Chuck teaches another lesson, if you know what I mean.
That's his favorite part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent movie, especially if you like a cheese pizza with pepperoni one-liners as the toppings.
This guy really wants pizza.
10 out of 10 stars. And yes, I am waiting on a pizza to be delivered. And that's kind of on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our old pal Bruce on Amazon unfortunately didn't see this movie, which is too bad because he loved this movie.
Yeah, he tends not to rent movies on Amazon.
No.
They have to be free for Bruce.
So instead, what I've pulled is a review of another Chuck Norris movie, which I don't think we'll ever do because it's kind of early in his career.
Yeah.
When his movies were more boring.
Yeah.
But this is the Chuck Norris truck driver action movie, Breaker.
Breaker.
Yeah. And this review is titled, Chuck Norris Can Really Punch and Kick.
Oh, yeah. Already with the punching and the kicking.
I appreciate having the movie reformatted to 16:9. I like the punching and kicking. Mm-hmm. I like the explosions.
Oh, yeah.
I like the car pursuits.
Oh.
I like the helicopter.
Oh.
This might be from 1977, but it was right to put it first on the road that Prime thought I would like. 5 out of 5 stars.
That's good writing right there.
That's pure winning right there.
Yeah, pure winning.
I didn't do it because that was another segment of the winning opinion.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
You're just so excited to get into it.
I was
so good.
Yeah, it was so good. Well, I wanted him to talk about how much he loved the helicopter.
Yeah.
Listen, we did enjoy the Hitman.
We did.
So much I would almost say, don't you wish the Hitman would come back?
I do. I do wish the Hitman would come back.
Well, let's make a sequel to the Hitman.
Let's let the hits keep on coming.
That will be the tagline. The hits keep on coming.
Yes.
But we'll need to bust out our handy dandy action movie title generator in order to come up with the new subtitle for this movie. So let me switch this here to our action mode. Because we can set it to different modes now, as we've talked about. We've included here. So here it is. It's the Hitman 2.
Yeah.
Chase of the Night.
Chase of the Night.
Ooh,
very evocative.
So I'm thinking this one is more of a chase movie, so more of a maybe more car-based action.
Sure. Yeah.
What's he doing though?
Is it like a road trip chase movie? So it's a chase that they do across the country.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's like he's got to get somebody,
Yeah.
like a witness or something, to Washington, D.C. or something like that.
Yeah, for a federal crime.
Yeah.
But, like, for some reason, he can't go on airplanes. I
Right.
don't know why, but he can't.
Yeah, they can't. Well, because they'll track him or something like that. He doesn't know who he
Yeah.
can trust.
Yes.
Well, because no, I know what it is. So the feds are making a big case against the mafia. Right?
Okay, yeah.
But like,
Based on his good detective work
Right.
in the first movie.
but they based on that, and they have somebody who's turned evidence.
Yes.
And but there are moles inside this secret government organization. So the only guy who's not on the books is the Hitman.
Right, because he's still technically legally dead.
Right, exactly. So the head guy, Agent Eyebrows,
Agent Eyebrows.
he's like, you're the only person I can trust.
Yeah.
You've got just 48 hours to get this guy to Washington, D.C. or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't use planes because, whatever, like they'll track the record.
Exactly.
They can make up some bullshit
Who cares?
about why
Who
that is.
cares?
But anyway, so that means it's going to be cars and trains. So we get some train fighting from Chuck.
Hell yeah.
Maybe
Hell
Chuck
yeah.
on top of a train
Of
fighting
course.
somebody.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's got to be a thing where, like, he, like, a low, barrier is coming and he drops down. The guy gets hit, or maybe they both drop because it's like a martial arts fight.
Yeah.
And they both kip up back and get into fighting position.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So there's that, and it's all about he's trying to get now. Who is our? Okay, we need 2 castings for this. Who is
Yes.
our who is our witness. Now, we can go one of two ways. Either this can be a comedic sidekick for him or a sexy love interest.
Ooh, both are very canon-esque.
Yeah,
we should definitely go for what would be in a canon film. Like, we got to go for
I think it's a
accuracy.
sexy lady.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think so. It's and this is, let's say this is the 90s. So I'm thinking it's like a Baywatch.
Yeah.
Like an Erica Eleniak from
Sure.
Under Siege.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that girl from Under Siege.
Yeah.
She's doing that. Now, who's our villain though? Who's our anti-hitman?
How do we follow up from Michael
Parks?
Yeah.
Who else do we like in the
in
villain
that sort of
sphere?
oeuvre? Yeah.
What are the other villains we've enjoyed? I'm trying to think of who else we've got there that's in that vein. Let me
Because it can't be somebody too big, you know.
Ooh, Eric Roberts.
Yes. So this kind of ties into a little bit to the Hitman's Run. A little bit where he's a hitman in that.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah.
The two hitmen come together on screen.
Yeah. Okay.
That could work.
Yeah,
That could work.
let's bring in Eric Roberts as the villain here. Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That's Hitman 2, Chase of the Night.
The hits just keep on coming.
Absolutely. Well, listen, next week, all good things must come to an end, so it's time to wrap up Norris November.
So sad. I mean, we did end it in probably the best way possible.
Well, we're gonna wrap up next week with what is considered by many to be Chuck's finest hour.
Yes, exactly.
And that is a little film called Code of Silence. Yes. This is directed by Andrew Davis, the man who gave us Under Siege and The Fugitive. Mm-hmm. And this is not a canon film, it's an Orion film, but they also made a lot of great genre movies in the 80s.
Sure did, yeah.
So as always, Listman, I will ask, would you like to hear the tagline for Code of Silence?
Oh, yeah.
This is a two tagline movie because there's an above the title tagline and a below the title tagline.
They had so many good ideas, they couldn't limit it to one.
Yeah. Here is the above the title is Eddie Cusack's a good cop having a very bad day. Chuck Norris, Code of Silence. Now undertitle, the toughest cop in the world, ... just got tougher.
Okay.
And
I don't think we needed that second.
the poster is just Chuck holding a shotgun.
He looks sad. He looks like he's lost.
He's having a bad day, man.
He is having a bad day, but he looks like he's like, I bumped my knee and now I have a boo-boo. That's the expression he's giving.
And so that's what we're dealing with. You're under arrest, and don't piss me off because I got a boo-boo.
I got a boo-boo on my knee.
Yeah. And once again, one-handing a pump-action shotgun.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's the only way he can do it.
Yeah. So that will come to us. I'm very excited to watch this movie. This is one of those where I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah.
But this is thought of pretty well as far as Chuck Norris movies go.
All right, yeah.
It's got a
Can't wait.
64 on Metacritic, that's huge for a
Chuck.
Norris movie.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the one time where they're like, yes, more like this, Chuck. But apparently he never did make it like this. Well, I do think Andrew Davis knows how to direct action.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna help a lot.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm
excited.
I'm excited for this one. I think I have some high hopes. This
Yeah.
one could burn us because I actually have high hopes. And I will
Yes,
say,
exactly.
this is available if you're an HBO Max subscriber. It's on there, so
Yeah.
check that out. But that is gonna do it for this week's episode of The Action Shelf. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Michael Isman.
Till next week, get yourself some action.
The Action Show. The Action Show.